I was unchurched for a lot of years, and I knew there was a God, but I didn't know God. And I had tried to get on some sort of spiritual path, but it wasn't working very well. On September 11th, 2001, I was in the Pentagon when the plane crashed. And that day I pretty much decided that there was no God, that any prayers that I was praying were just going through the motions. And so I just kind of gave up at that point. And I started having night terrors and a lot of problems with depression and anxiety, and they immediately put me on meds, and they tried to get me into doing therapy, but I avoided it as much as possible because I just didn't want to deal with it. And it wasn't until last year when I got put with a counselor at the VA in Augusta that wouldn't let me run anymore. And he pinned me down and said, "This is what we're going to do." And I remember doing the first writing assignment and how low it took me, to the point where I just really didn't believe that life was worth living. And the next day I got invited to True North by a friend of mine, and they had tried to get me to come before. I didn't want anything to do with it. But I was just at such a low point that I said yes. And that was October 29th. And I remember because it was the face down service was that evening. Now when people prayed with me after that service, and I met Steve and Jean, and they prayed with me, and they encouraged me to come back to the face down. And that night I wrote all these things down, and I went up to the cross and I knelt and I prayed, just, "God, please help me. I can't do it by myself." And I've been scooped up here, lifted up, and shown what God's love can really do when you let Him in. I've gotten really involved in church, and with Linked Up, and I did the 101 class and joined the church, and I'm taking my profession of faith to the baptism now. It's only been 4 months or so, but the amount of miracles that God has worked in my life has just blown me away. And I want everybody to know that is struggling to just let Him in. 'Cause that's when the healing begins.